Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is episode 108 of the Area 51 Racing Podcast. I'm Bobby. Chrissy, we wish you were here, but we got Scott. So, Scott, tell, I know that was funny, but how you doing today? And please introduce our guest for tonight.
I'm doing great, Bobby. Glad to hear you're finally getting better being under the weather. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, we have the media relations and the late model announcer for Port Royal Speedway here in Port Royal, Pennsylvania, Brad Strasser. He's one of the dynamic duo of him and EHJ Earl Hoon Jr. Welcome to the show, Brad. Thanks for coming on, and we'll get it kicked off. What's 2026 look like for Port Royal Speedway this year?
Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys having me and getting an opportunity to talk about Port Royal Speedway and everything we got going on there. I mean, 2026, if you haven't been paying attention on social media, something that's been called for a lot over the past couple of years is, getting all the local tracks in central Pennsylvania to work together. Central Pennsylvania is a hotbed for sprint car racing, as you know, and there's a lot of dirt tracks, real close together. We had a guy who worked at Port Royal Speedway a couple of years ago who was from Virginia, and he would always talk about how spoiled Pennsylvania people are, because it was like you can throw a rock from your backyard and you hit a dirt track. And he said, where I'm at in Virginia, like the closest dirt track I have to go to, I have to drive like 2.5 hours. And he's like, I'm in Virginia, and Port Royal Speedway is almost as close to me as the dirt track in my own state. But getting back into us having tracks work together. I mean, for years, decades, it's been tracks competing against each other, just trying to, have a strong hold on, who's racing what division on any given Saturday or any given Friday. That kind of got headlines last year with Williams Grove and Selinsgrove kind of butting heads on fighting for race day. Between ourselves and Lincoln racing for Saturday. Now we have the newly formed PA Posse 410 Sprint Car Series, where all the tracks came together to try to put a schedule to put as many premier events, into a point series as possible, and also give, our drivers that come out of Pennsylvania the opportunity to stay home and make just as much money, if not more, than what they could get out on the road. So it's a really good opportunity for that, and Port Royal being a key figure in that series is huge for us. It's huge for the local scene, and of course, big for the fans. So that's a big deal. I think you're gonna see a lot of fans come out early in the season because a lot of our races in that scheduled series are early. With our regular season opening day taking place there, second, third weekend in March. The first 2 or 3 races in that series on our side of the schedule are right there in March. And there's enough novelty to that series and so much newness that, I think you're going to see fans come out and enjoy that. So that's a big one on the calendar. Of course, we open the season with the short track super series and the modifieds. Port Royal Speedway, offers to the race fan, any division can come in and have a great night, and be exciting for all the fans. So we start the year off with the modifieds and the short track super series. We've been doing that for years now, and others have had a lot of good races, but a lot of fun in the speed showcase. You got the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series back with us. You've got, of course, the Bob Weichert Memorial, which is going to pay $100,000 to win again. With last year that being a surprise announcement coming in at midnight, which was crazy to be a part of, and how that all came together. And now that's happening again. We don't need to make that announcement at midnight when everybody's in bed or driving home from the track. You just know exactly what you're getting into. Bob Weichert Memorial Weekend, and it is going to be the highest paying winner share race in the state of Pennsylvania again. So that's a big deal. And of course, the Tuscarora 50, with all the history that's in that event, and being able to have a driver etch their name in the history of that event alongside, many of the sprint car racing greats. And then, of course, PA Speed Week, we've got a huge event planned for July 4th. The fact that, we're lucky enough for Speed Week, in our middle of the week race in Speed Week to line up with July 4th and the United States 250th birthday. We've been working really hard as a promotional team. Doug Malot's been working really hard to put events together for the fans on top of the great racing that always comes with Speed Week. That's going to be a true, a really big event. and Speed Week always brings a lot of fans out, and we're planning on making it well worth their while, on top of just enjoying the great racing. So, I mean, that's a brief highlight, but I mean, those are the big headlines coming into 2026.
Huge highlights, huge highlights. Bobby, I know you're I can see it in your eyes. You're dying to ask a question, something you and I talked about, leading up to this. Brad, I tried to explain it, but he's got one of the biggest questions that I know I've been asked by a lot of people who don't know much about Port Royal. Bobby, I'm going to let you ask this question because this is a good one, and I'm glad you asked it to me because I don't even know how to answer it.
So Scott and I have been talking, and I want to know about the Living Legends.
Yeah, the Living Legends Dream Race. So,
Yeah.
just kind of the history behind that event.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it started as back whenever I was a kid. It was the Dream Race Extreme, and the idea behind the race was to have a high-paying sprint car race in central Pennsylvania that was an unsanctioned race. The idea was to have a big purse, a big payout race for your guys that are racing locally. Of course, it has the opportunity to draw in names from outside the state, wherever else. But the idea is for this to be a good opportunity for the guys at home to race in a premier event without the threat of having national guys come in who have the higher budgets, who kind of flexes those guys out of some of the big races. Sometimes for our big events and our premier events with the national sanctions, it's hard to compete against those teams with a bigger budget. So, the Dream Race was put together to give back to those teams, give them an opportunity to race for a big purse and be very rewarding. And, that event's been supported well for years. It changed to the Living Legends Dream Race because, just like I said, with Central Pennsylvania being a hotbed for sprint car racing, there's a lot of huge names that have come out of Central Pennsylvania, and plenty of legends that deserve to be honored, and a lot of them obviously still alive and sitting amongst us, walking amongst us, being in the track or involved in some certain way. Last year we honored Mark Smith, who is the king of 360 sprint car racing, but he's also in the top 5 of 410 sprint car wins at Port Royal Speedway, which, to do that, and I might be off there, might be close to top 10, but we top 5 in 410 sprint car wins. And when you have names like, obviously Keith Kaufman's number 1 with us, but Lance DeWeese is number 2, and Mark Smith to be right up there, he's still racing a 410 sprint car, to this day. I mean, that's a guy that's very deserving of being in the mix and being honored as a living legend, because that is what he is. He's had a lot of success in the 360 ranks as well. He's known well all over the country. We're racing with the American Sprint Car Series as well. He's been very dominant in Volusia 360 sprint car racing. So obviously have to honor him. I mean, it just makes sense. And then we honored Barry Camp as well. If you're not from Central Pennsylvania, I think you're going to hear that name as well. I mean, there's just so many good stories that come from sprint car racing, dirt track racing in Pennsylvania from back in the 70s and 80s, and Barry Camp was back there competing with guys, like Keith Kaufman, like Doug Wolfgang, and he was winning races with them or competing, for wins right alongside of them. I did a story on both Mark Smith and Barry Camp. I got on the phone with them, and had great conversations. I was on the phone with Barry Camp for close to an hour of him just telling me stories of him hanging out with Keith Kaufman and racing at Port Royal. And, that was a podcast in and of itself. Honestly, I recorded it to write the story, which is on the Speedway website, but I wish I would have, sat down and edited it and put it into a podcast, because, he had me dying laughing with some of his stories. But obviously, like I said, he's, a legend within the sport. You can go back and look at, if you haven't followed Turn 5 Turnaround, his picture will show up there plenty of times. If you're on Twitter or X, his son runs a Twitter account, BNC Auto, and he'll often post old time pictures of him and Barry. It's Barry's son, them racing together, or different photos of Barry in the pits. But anyway, a race to honor all the legends that we have, in Central Pennsylvania, or have touched Port Royal Speedway in some way, shape, or form. Be able to honor them and give back to them for as much as they've given to the sport.
Now, I know Scott and I were talking about this, but he's like, save it for the show. So I'm gonna throw you this one. Why is Port Royal Speedway called the Speed Palace?
Yeah. So mile, first and foremost. If you watch racing across the country, you know dirt track racing. The tracks come in all shapes and sizes, from bull rings to the big half mile. Port Royal Speedway carries a lot of speed. Our track crew from a few years ago, Steve Steinley did it for a number of years. Brian Towsey and Pete Leister put the track together. Last year, but I mean, those guys are carrying 140 plus miles an hour, down the front straightaway, head first into the turns. And Port Royal Speedway guys love to rip the top, bang the boards, tap the tin, get it up against the wall. So when you're up against the wall like that, you're carrying a lot of speed the whole way around the track. You're getting around a half mile in 15 seconds, at times, which is incredible speed. And then the Palace side of things, we're pretty proud of the facilities that we have. Being a part of the Agricultural Society and the fairground and what we have to offer, we're very proud of our grandstands. Very proud of our infield. There's not really a bad place to watch the race, partake in the event anywhere in the facility. You can see the whole track. The infield is wide open. We have a pit area off of turn number 4, so you don't have to worry about seeing past, the car's trailers. If we, do have an A main event where we have a work area or pit area down in the infield, the fans can see it all, and it doesn't, really obstruct their view. So we're pretty proud of the facility. We got a Palace-like facility. We've got a lot to offer, and we're pretty proud of that. And we're always looking to improve it, which we're actively doing now. So that's where I would say, that all comes to be in the Speed Palace.
Love it. I was
100,
telling
140 mile an hour, Bobby, in the turn 1.
right. I was thinking. I
Think
thought
you can handle that one?
I thought Eldora was fast, like, because that's obviously my home track, and then I didn't realize it was that fast. That's awesome.
Yeah, she's fast. Brad, you and I have watched a lot of races there in the 410s. Out of the last two, you know what? Let's go as long as you've been there as a fan and as an announcer. Who would you say was your most memorable first time feature winner? Doesn't have to be the 410s. It could be the super late models. It could be the limited late models. Could be back to the 305 past sprint cars. Which one was your would you say was your memorable first win?
Yeah, there's a lot that comes to mind, honestly. I'll go through a couple. We were very close to getting Garrett Bard to be a first-time winner. That's the first thing that comes to mind this past year. I mean, Anthony Macri stole that from him by a nose wing, maybe not even that, maybe a quarter of a nose wing, which would have been a big win for Garrett Bard. And he came close a number of times. Anthony Macri obviously has won a lot with us, but that's the first one that came to mind when thinking about first-time feature winners. Garrett Bard's knocking on the door. Justin Whittle, I believe it was 2 or 3 years ago. Obviously, our track champion last year was super dominant when he took to the track. Had a couple of wins taken away from him just by bad fortune. He had a tire explode. One night in turn 2, like on the white flag lap. But his first win a couple years ago, I lose track of time, 2 or 3 years ago. He was another guy. Honestly, when he got his first 410 win at Port Royal Speedway, he was knocking on the door a number of times. I believe he led races. He finished second a handful of times. But when he got that first win, he's very emotional. It meant a lot to him. He's not a guy that has a lot to say. He's a pretty quiet guy anyway. But to see him overcome with emotion, that means a lot. And from us at Port Royal Speedway, we're always just trying to put on a good event. But when you see a guy trying that hard to win, and that means that much to him, that's very meaningful to us. On the 410 side, also another one that comes to mind, Gerard McIntyre. His sprint car team is based right outside the track. If you come up 8th Street, there's the point service station there. A car garage used to be a gas station. The sprint car team is based right there. I know those guys pretty well, and he was another one that he was very good in the Tuscarora 50 3 or 4 years ago. Without having a sprint car win to that point, and then the next season he got his first 410 win. in that car. And that team's first win in a handful of years since Jared Ash had won in it. And another guy that he got out of the car and celebrated, just overcome with emotion, because of how hard it is to win at Port Royal Speedway and how competitive it is. And you have guys that Anthony Macri, Danny Dietrich, that can just show up on any given Saturday, right? And Macri just won out at Volusia with the Outlaws. Port Royal Speedway is his home track. That's where he cut his teeth. He can show up any given Saturday. Any Saturday that's just 5,000 to win. Anthony Macri might show up there, and it's hard to win at Port Royal, but you get guys who do. You get guys like Garrett Bard, who's competing for a win. You get guys like Gerard McIntyre, like Justin Whittle, who ends up being a track champion, with us. That's a big one. On the late model side, I don't know if I was with Colton Flinner for his first time win at Port Royal Speedway, but it was, I believe, 2 years ago. He got his first win since his father passed away. His dad, Mark Flinner, was heavily involved, and they won a track championship a year or two previous. And then he kind of struggled, was consistent, but obviously he was very dominant in his track championship year, and just kind of had some mixed results. And then, I believe it was a year to the day that his dad passed away from cancer. He won with us at Port Royal Speedway in exciting fashion. He took the win away from Trevor Feathers coming off of turn number 4. It was a side-by-side exciting finish, and I got to, go down and do the interview with him in Victory Lane. And, Colton and I have gotten to be, friendly in the pits. I talk to him every time he's there, and, to be able to talk to him and, see how much that meant to him. I mean, it's always, the theme is, these guys get overcome with emotion, and it means a lot to them. To be standing in Victory Lane at Port Royal Speedway, and obviously that one had a lot of sentimental value to him. But that's one that's definitely special for me. To be able to call that one coming to the checkered, and to be able to stand down there and with him in Victory Lane in a moment that did mean so much to him, and be a part of that. For something that's definitely a memory for him forever. That's a memory for me forever.
Well, Brad, I hate to say this, but we are getting a lot of questions for you. But the one that it really shocks me is, you're so key on points on the driver's emotions, and Colton Flinner's dad passing and him winning that race. I was there, and you could see the emotion, and it took him a while to gather his thoughts. Great guy though, great guy. Everybody was a great guy. Real quick here, I want to ask you, out of the schedule season, I know last year me, Pastor Doug, we started the back to school giveaway with giving out, the drawstring backpacks, the stuff like that for the kids for first day of school, with help from Mike Click Paving. I know it's on the schedule this year. What's the goal? How many backpacks and stuff we looking to give away this year? And, what's that look like for 2026?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing with us at Port Royal Speedway is we never go backwards. And that's why the Bob White Memorial, with it being $100,000 to win, once that happened, after that event ended, talking with Steve O'Neill, the lead promoter, everybody was like, well, we're not going backwards. We're doing this again next year. And that's the same with the back to school night. And if you've been tuned into the Port Royal Speedway social media page, you saw we released a schedule of events for fans, which is the first time we've done that. That's been a big focus with bringing Pastor Doug on. He's been such a blessing to have at Port Royal Speedway. He does an incredible job. He's really helped push us forward into doing a better job with the fans and getting you involved with the back to school night. We want to make Port Royal Speedway a place to be. So I don't know what the number has come in at with the drawstring backpacks, coloring books, and the likes that we're going to offer for the back to school night. But it's going to be exactly at minimum what we did last year, not more. I don't want to say double, but it's going to be more than what we did last year, because those things, to go back to my days of working at the Y store and having to work the shelves, those things flew off the shelves. Those drawstring bags were gone like before cars hit the track. So we know we have the ability to do more. The interest is there to do more. And I know the fans really appreciated it. And, the kids, of course, it's a cliche, but it's true. Cliches are cliche for a reason. The kids are the future of the sport. And the sport doesn't exist if we don't have, young fans that want to come to the track. And we want to give them a reason to come to the track. Everybody's very well aware. We see it on social media. We are all people, too, that work at the track. So we know coming to the track's not cheap, right? We know that the general admission price isn't going down. It's not free to get in. And living in this world is not cheap and easy. So we want you to feel like coming to the track and spending your Saturday with us and spending 5-6 hours with us, depending if you come when gates open, is worth your while. And we want to make it worth your kids' while as well. So that's why, we've worked with you. Pastor Doug's been great at getting, businesses and people interested in wanting to support an event like back to school night and give back to the kids and give back to everybody involved. So there's more to come there. I've been talking with Doug. I want to take a measured approach with how we announce it. But it's going to be bigger than last year. It's going to be than last year. And last year was pretty good.
Yeah, last year was an interesting 55 minutes at the front gate, because that's how long everything lasted. 55 minutes.
Yeah. And there's a lot of time from when gates open to cars at the track, and people are coming in, all the time. And the people that aren't there right as the gates open are just as important as the people who are there waiting for the ticket windows to open. So we want to be able to give to those people too. So we're going to do more because there's more people to do something for.
Now, for a person like me who's never been, what would you recommend for the first track or the first race?
Oh man, the first race. I mean, opening day, our regular season opening day. But obviously, if not that, if you want to wait till it's a little warmer, a little bit more comfortable, the Bob Weichert Memorial. That's a big event. We have a lot of big events at Port Royal Speedway, but that's our one of crown jewel events, because we've got, there's a lot of arguments around what are the crown jewels of sprint car racing. Well, Port Royal Speedway might be a little bit cocky of me to say, but you can have a Port Royal Speedway crown. With the big events that we have between the Bob Weichert Memorial, Living Legend, Street Race, Tuscarora 50, and the likes. But the Bob Weichert Memorial, it's a weekend full of events. I mean, we have, the local community gets involved. There's usually concerts around at local campgrounds, whatever else. It's a big 3-day event with high limit racing. We do pre-race show. We get drivers involved. We're gonna have autograph session. All this kind of stuff. So, I mean, if you want to get the full experience, really take in, Juniata County and Port Royal Speedway and what the local area has to offer and what we do at the track. Donut giveaway in the camping area. There's tons of people out tailgating and having a good time in the camping area. High Limit brings in a number of events as well, on top to help us out. But I would say the Bob Weichert Memorial, for as big as that event continues to grow, that's the first one to circle in your calendar. Second one, depending on how long you can be with us, come out and do the whole Juniata County Fair, or at least the Tuscarora 50. If you do the Tuscarora 50, again, 3 days worth, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you get to experience the Juniata County Fair and all it has to offer. Of course, any picture you see, if you Google Port Royal Speedway, you're going to have the Ferris wheel just off of turn number 1. I opened the Flow Racing broadcast from there 2 years ago. That's as picturesque. If you get a postcard from Port Royal Speedway, if you think Port Royal Speedway, that's what people point to. So, there's so much history in that. That's what's tagged to us. Be a part of that, because that really gets you the full experience. There's so much good food. The racing's fantastic, and you get all the likes of it. If you want sprint cars, if you want late models, it's a part of that. That full weekend, the Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So, I mean, that's right up there with the Bob Weichert Memorial. There's argument, obviously, with Bob Weichert Memorial being $100,000 to win. What's Port Royal Speedway's premier event? I think it's 1A, 1B, and you can argue which one's 1A and which one's 1B because of how big both events are.
So it looks like I'm gonna have to make a trip down there May 23rd.
Yep, yeah. The Weichert, yeah. There's so I'm gonna get a little cockier because I'm cocky, right? I'm gonna say out of at all the racetracks in the country, I think Port Royal's got 2 crown jewels. I don't think it's just one, because you look at the Bob Weichert Memorial with its historic trophy, the Cow's Head, and now paying again, second year in a row. And I'll tell you, I was on my way home the night y'all dropped that it was going to be 100,000 to win, because I wasn't coming the next night, but I changed everything around. I came down for the 100,000 to win and drug people with me. So not getting that, alert at night again, it's going to be 100,000. It's already 100,000. That's a crown jewel right there in itself. Definitely the
Tell you the story of that happening, because we had no idea. Like, there was no inclination that was going to happen. It was going to be 75,000 to win. That was a big event for us already as it was. From my side, after the racing is done, once the final checker flag drops, cars are off the track, I head to the Speedway office. I write up the press release. I send it all out to all the media partners. I update our website. So I'm at the track for a good hour plus after any given event. Helps get the traffic out of the way. But anyway, I was at the track, did all that, hung out with the promotional team, other track officials, just kind of recapping the night as we do. So I was at the track for hour and a half, 2 hours after the event's done. Left. No inclination that anything's going to change. I get home, I'm taking care of my dog, and usually like 10 minutes, and then bang, I'm in bed, I'm asleep. Because especially the Bob Weichert Memorial, there's so much to do the next day. I get the dog, to bed in our garage, and my phone's ringing. And it's Earl Hoon Jr., for those of you who know him. And he said, "Hey, are you asleep?" And I said, "No, not yet, but not far away." And he was like, "Okay, I need you to get to the computer. We have something big is happening." And honestly, my mind went to the worst of like, we have to cancel Sunday. We're going to race Monday. And, that's never ideal for the weekend. And I'm like, what happened? Or somebody got hurt. There's something bad happened. And so I'm like, okay, what is it? And he's like, we are now paying, due to an anonymous sponsor that's come on board, $100,000 to win for the Bob Weichert Memorial finale. I was like, yeah, we got to get that out right now, even if it's 12:30 at night or whatever it was. You can go back and look on social media. So I run inside. My wife's up and around, but obviously tired. It's late at night. And she's like, what's going on while you're on the phone? I was like, this is already a huge event for us. It just got even bigger. So we get that announcement out, get in early the next day. We're making phone calls. We're internet checking. And that's why we're putting out social media posts. And that's why I said earlier, it's the highest paying race in, Pennsylvania history, any kind of race, because we're doing all that work to dig in and find. But that was such a crazy night. I mean, I've been at Port Royal Speedway since 2020, so this will be year 6 coming up, and every year has had something just bonkers like that. And that one just came out of nowhere, just materialized out of it.
Yeah, I remember the post very well, and I was like, no, get out, 100 grand. Oh, Bobby, I'll tell you right now, I pulled in the pits at noon, into the grandstand area at noon for the final day, and it was already jam-packed.
Really?
I'm like, oh Lord, this is gonna be bad. People, the infield was jammed shoulder to shoulder. It was shoulder to shoulder. The grandstands were, I don't think there was an empty seat. But the best thing was I saw
event all time for us in terms of attendance, because around COVID we had some pretty big events like that, but top 3 event all time for us.
Yeah, I will say that was probably some of the best racing I saw that night too. Like, the track was super fast. The track guys did a great job. And one thing I will tip my hat and applaud you guys and pat you on the back. And this goes out to the track crew guys. They do a phenomenal job. Bobby, there's no intermission. There's no bringing out a grader. It's maybe a light mist of the racetrack, couple passes, one on top, one in the middle, one on the bottom. Let it sit for 5 minutes, pack the track, call the cars out.
I love it.
20 minutes tops of an intermission. Long enough for you to go use the restroom and grab some French fries from Packard's concession stand if you like French fries, or pick up a Victory Fuel energy drink. which Bobby you gotta try. Yeah, pretty good.
I'll give it another try. The one I got, the problem was I had it shipped, and when I got them, they were all busted. I think I had one or two cans that weren't busted, and it was like they were upside down. So I don't know what happened.
But yeah, and to be honest with you, Bobby, there is not a bad plate. You can sit in the first row and still see the whole track, and not have any issues. I've seen more last lap, last turn passes for the win at Port Royal in a big half mile than I have at a small racetrack.
Really?
That's saying so. Yeah. He mentioned one. As much as Anthony Macri is loved and hated in Pennsylvania because he wins a lot, just like Danny Dietrich. Those two have been some of the best races I've seen where those two have won. The Bob Weichert Memorial that one year that Danny won before it was the $100,000. I believe it was 2 years ago. Oh man, listen, Bobby, when you come out, you got to get the full experience. We're gonna go early, tailgate, get you around there, get you out to see some of the track, and you'll have a good time.
I gotta ride around the track at least once.
That's not my department. That's that man right there.
Hey, I mean, once the event's done, it's pretty common. We have people who do laps, around the track. If you get connected with somebody on our track crew, they'll take you around. If you can find Steve Steinley, he might give you the most entertaining ride around Port Royal Speedway. He's got a flat foot on the razor. Sometimes he gets around there pretty quick on the razor. He's still got some racing in him. But I wanted to circle back, Scott. You said about giving credit to the track crew. That's something Earl and I say it on the mic, and it can sometimes come off as homerism, which maybe it is. It's my home track. It's where I grew up. But when you grow up at Port Royal Speedway and then you go to, I've gone to some other tracks. You watch them do the track prep there. It's so hard, and especially in Central Pennsylvania, it's so hard. And our guys get it right a lot of times. They're not batting 1,000. It's impossible to bat 1,000 because Pennsylvania weather is so unpredictable. It has been for the past 5 years. You don't know what you're going to get. Rain can just show up. Rain can hit a mile from the track. We had a night a year or two ago where it was pouring down, torrential downpour rain. If you're local to the area, at Rudders, which you could throw a football off the top of the grandstands and hit Rudders. And my wife was driving through, and she was like, I almost pulled off the side of the road. I couldn't see. We completed a full racing program, never had to worry about the rain. And we've had that vice versa, where I live 5 miles from the track, not raining here, raining at the track. I get the call, we're having to cancel. But the fact that they get it right so often is so incredible because there's so many factors to take in. The temperature for the day, the temperature of what it's going to be when you're putting water on the track, what the temperature is going to drop to when the sun goes down, how much direct sunlight the track is getting, how much it rained during the week, or oftentimes, or lately, how much it's not raining. And what we have to do to make sure we're keeping enough water to get through the season. And the fact that, we don't take rubber, or we don't end up with a super rough track surface, so often. It's something that's on the forefront of the mind, for our guys that are doing that, for Steve Steinley, for Pete Leister, for Ryan Towsey, and everybody else in the track crew. They do such a fantastic job, and they're incredibly smart. They do such a good job in doing that. It's so impressive, what they are able to do because track prep is so incredibly hard.
So, Scott, I'm going to throw you under the bus here for a minute.
What's you going to run me over for?
I'm going to beat, back up, run you over again. So, anyways, he talked about, and I just thought of this, when you said that it rains, how much rain it gets and all that. This dude wanted to, I don't know why he wanted to bring this up, but he wanted to have the Cup cars run in the snow.
Why not?
And I'm sitting here thinking, screw that. Let's put the sprint cars on the snow. That would be entertaining.
That would be hard. I don't think the sprint cars would be heavy enough. They're so light. They're only 1350. with the
Oh,
draft,
really?
probably. So
You
I thought they
Google
were
it.
every.
it's super like.
You Google it. In Canada or Alaska or somewhere, they do race on ice.
Canada does.
Yeah, they do. I don't know if it would be handled well here in central Pennsylvania the way we get snow. But yeah, there might be something there. Somebody smarter than me would have to figure it out, but there might be something there.
Yeah, see, the cars on snow. Come on, man.
Right. That's why I said I was gonna run you over a little bit, but it's funny because I was sitting there thinking like, I live in Ohio. We have Eldora, but now I hear Port Royal, and it's like, okay, I think Port Royal. I'd rather go to Port Royal than Eldora. Like I want to go to both, but now it goes from Eldora and Port Royal is here. Now Port Royal is above it.
We'll get somebody from Eldora on the podcast. So I'm sure it'll hop back and forth. I've been to Eldora. I was there for the Super Late Model Dream a couple years ago. That place it is also incredible. We've all got our own different things to offer, but the fact that again, going back to my story, which I've told a handful of times, I grew up 5 miles from the track, the mountain that you can see behind turn number one. I lived at the base of that mountain. I went to the track when there was maybe 75 people there, which is an exaggeration, but not much of an exaggeration. It was in rough shape and threatening to go out of business. And the fact that we're right up there in the mix of, getting mentioned with Eldora, we're getting mentioned with, Knoxville's still the pinnacle, but the fact that we're getting mentioned in the same sentences is incredible to me. The fact that we're a premier facility, the fact that we bring in the big names, that so many different drivers from so many different disciplines say that we're their favorite track. I mean, when we hear from the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, when we hear from the modifieds and the short track super series, of course, the sprint car guys, there's so many of them that say Port Royal is my favorite track. That means something to me because, I was sitting in the grandstands, with, enough people for just a large pizza. That's just so crazy to see the place packed elbow to elbow, and I'm so proud that it is what it is.
Now, Scott, you said like when you and I go, we got a tailgate and all that. Brad, I'm gonna ask you this.
Yeah.
If you're a normal race fan, you don't know much about it. Tell me from start to finish how your day is gonna go.
Normal race fan if you're tailgating. So we'll set the scene. You show up Saturday night of the Bob Waker Memorial. So you didn't see the racing on Saturday. You're just coming for the finale. So you come in, you pull into a packed camping area. Tons of people, but you're gonna have plenty of space. You're not elbow to elbow in the camping area, but there's tons of campers, there's tents, all that. You're gonna get in, you settle in, you have plenty of time to tailgate, Chamber of Commerce weather. I've said it's all over the place, but we're gonna set that it's a nice day because that's what we had this past year for the Bob Waker Memorial. A little rain in the morning, but afterwards we were all good. Get out of the camping area. You're trying to help you picture it since you haven't been there. You're in the backyard of an old elementary school. Building's still there, but nobody's in it. You're right outside our fairgrounds, which is chock full of different vendors. When it comes to food, it's got all the t-shirt trailers set up in a nice row. They're not scattered all over the place. You've got a merchandise row with all the teams. You can pretty much get in there, once the gates open. You can get your seat once the gates open. Again, if you buy a reserve seat for the grandstand, go in, get your seat, put your stuff down. Or if you go into the infield, get yourself set up because that's where it's going to be sardines and elbow to elbow. You have tons of time to get yourself set up in a perfect spot. You're not going to miss anything unless you're 4 feet tall. You're going to be able to see it all. So you won't have to worry about standing on people's shoulders. We did have a couple of years ago people stand on the porta potties, to watch the Tuscarora 50. But you won't have to do that. You'll be able to see it all. Pick your spot to sit and eat. Sit, eat, watch the races. Go out, check out again. Tons of good concessions. Packers concessions is the main one. We got Lobbers pretzels, so you can get pretzel. You can get an ice cream cone. banana split, um, pizza, French fries, the likes, anything you want there. We've got Danny's barbecue, so you can get yourself pulled pork. You can get yourself brisket, all that. We'll have the commercial building open. There's usually TV set up in there. We've had the Indy 500 watch party there the last couple of years for the Bob Wyckoff Memorial, so you can come in if you are a huge Indianapolis 500 fan. You can come in and watch that with us. And then we always do a pre-race show every year with different drivers from High Limit, from Central Pennsylvania. You're going to get a good experience, diving deep into the sport with them. You can plenty of time to walk through the pits. Our pits are paved, so it's a comfortable walk through the pits. They're not having to walk on gravel or cinders or stones. Kind of a luxury walk through the pits. And then, once the racing starts, once cars get on the track, because, heat races are competitive. Everybody's fighting for spots, especially the Bob Wyckoff Memorial. I've been doing a lot of promoting of that race. It's got its own special format, passing points. So it's not just about time trialing fast, it's about passing cars. So it incentivizes competition, it incentivizes, racing hard, and those guys do. They get after it. And you look back at the Bob Wyckoff Memorial the last couple of years, and we've had, instant classic finishes in the heat races, let alone the future events, the A main. So get settled in once cars get on the track, and you won't really have too much reason to leave your seat unless you're hungry. Because like Scott said, we are focused on keeping the program moving as well. So your only real stoppages are for like Island Racing's, redraw wheel. That's your only real stoppage, and you want to watch Tony ask them their drivers their crazy questions and watch the wheels spin, because there's enough fun in that as well. So we'll keep you in your seat, as well. So once cars are on the track, get settled in because you're in for a good night of racing. And then leaving, we've got, especially for a big event like that, there's going to be traffic. You're never going to dodge traffic. But we got multiple ways to leave the racetrack as well. You can go right into town. You can leave out of the backside of the camping area. If you're camping into the next day, you have some hours to sleep, get yourself packed up and go in the next day. But there's more than one way to leave the racetrack. So we're able to, when I was going as a kid, for an event like the Tuscarora 50 that still brought a lot of people, you might be prepared to sit in traffic for an hour or two just getting out of the fairgrounds. But we've been able to open up different areas to get out of town, and we've been able to kind of mitigate as much traffic as possible, and get people out of there a little faster. So, that's your typical big event at Port Royal Speedway, I'd say.
I'm excited, Scott. I want to go.
Let's go. By the way, he kind of teased about it. Danny's barbecue. They have a mac and cheese with pulled pork barbecue at the top.
Did I not smile as soon as he said barbecue?
He did. That's why I brought it up again. Yeah. Brad, I want to thank you so much. Not cut you short or anything. We definitely loved having you on. Definitely gonna have to have you on again, and maybe even if Bobby and I can make it out, do a little seminar with you at the Bob Wyckoff Memorial live, and kind of maybe get to see Bobby can see that big trophy. It's huge, dude. It's huge. It's a cow's head. It's probably easy.
It's huge and it's heavy. It's huge and it's heavy. So I've hosted the pre-race show the last 2 years, and we did it on the stage for the pre-race show. And there's two of them. There's one for the driver and one for the owner. But I mean, if you go back to COVID time, 2020, Kyle Larson's out in NASCAR for his bit, and he came and raced with us. He said, I had to come race the Bob Wyckoff Memorial because that trophy is so cool. And obviously the $100,000 to win payday now is making it huge, but it brought in drivers just because the trophy is that awesome. So that's another thing. You have to go see that, get a hand on it. We always have it on display. That's something you don't want to miss either.
I might have to try to hoist this thing on live. I don't know if I'd be able to pick it up.
It's heavy. It's heavy. It's heavy. I watched the one track photographer, Chris, put it down in the center of the racetrack when the car split it. And he looked like he was struggling. And he's not a small guy. He's got muscles and everything. I was like, ooh, I want to see one of these guys pick it up. But yeah, Bob, we definitely got to get out there. You got to, drag you out here and get you to see the Bob Weichert Memorial. It's
I will definitely be putting that on my calendar. Be like, hey,
yeah.
Adrian, we're going to take a trip.
And we can leave her at grandma's.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? If I tell her how fast the cars are going, she might be excited about it.
Yeah, they are. They're pretty fast, and track's awesome. It's my new home track. I grew up at Selinsgrove Speedway. But they have the weekly super late models there. The Bob Weichert 410s. I think that's Penske now. There's still Penske super late models.
Yep, Penske Racing Shock Super Late models.
And then you got to see the past 305 sprint cars, man. These guys, for homegrown racers, Bobby, they're pretty awesome. Good bunch of guys. But Brad, I do want to thank you. Are part of the media team and the track announcers at Port Royal Speedway. Thanks for coming in and talking with us about Port Royal. Thank you so much. Brad, I'll see you on the 13th of March for the Short Track Super Series Modifieds. I'll see you there the 13th and 14th, freezing our tails off because it's going to be cold.
Yeah,
it's a break.
That's for sure. Well, hey guys, I appreciate you guys having me on. This was a lot of fun. I love talking about my home track. I love talking about what we've got going on at Port Royal Speedway. So yeah, if you guys want me back, just shoot me a message. We'll work something out.
Absolutely.
And hey, by the way, enjoy the radio broadcast. I know you guys do a Wednesday roundup. I think it's Wednesday on the radio. You do with your radio station. So wish you the best of luck the rest of the season. I'll see you less than a month away. I'll see you. We'll get cracking on the season and definitely, try to get you on again. Hopefully we can get you on at the Bob Weichert in person, and maybe we can drag EHJ. Maybe.
He's a famous guy. If we can get him to stop signing autographs. We'll see if we can pull him in.
Yeah. Maybe we could do a racer segment with the podcast, Bobby. Kind of like what Flo does with the racer. Do a racer segment where they talk and get asked the questions. But Brad, again, thank you very much. I hope you have a great night. Hey, we're 3 days away from Cars on Track 2 for NASCAR, Bob. 3 days.
Oh, actually, it's tomorrow.
The third Wednesday.
Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Tomorrow is. Oh my God, jeez. Yeah, I need to stop working so much.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you got practice tomorrow.
10 a.m.
You have duels on Thursday.
Yep.
And then I'm out of here. I'm on my way to Daytona.
Hey, have fun.
I'm excited.
Brad, again, thank you so much, my man. Appreciate you. And actually, you know what? Real quick, I forgot. I'm so sorry. On the website, can you go ahead and give us the website for the racetrack? And there also is people still going to be able to purchase tickets for regular season regular shows, not the big specials. Those regular shows going to be prepaid tickets?
So that will be on occasion, I would say. So that was a little bit of a trial, what we did with that last year, PortRoyalSpeedway.com. There's always, it's a new system for us. So, the way that with our season pass and season seats, and we've gone through some changes with that from last year to this year. There's always some unforeseen hurdles that comes in with that, and making sure that you're not taking somebody's seat, especially people who buy the season reserve seats, because they're spending a lot of money to have a seat with us all year. So you want to take care of those folks, because they're our big fans. And whenever you sell seats on an individual basis like that, there's just some hurdles with that and logistics things that we had. It was pretty smooth. I would say it was probably about 85% smooth. But there's still about 15% of that that's not. And that 15% can really make some people understandably upset. So it won't be for every race. Don't be surprised if you don't see it pop up though again to offer it. But you won't be able to buy for opening day, for regular season opening day. I would say don't anticipate that. But keep an eye on our social media, Facebook, Port Royal Speedway, Trackside Media, X, Twitter, whatever, at Port Royal Speedway. All the updates come out of there. So stay tuned to that for when it does come available, because we'll let you all know as soon as it does.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. Brad, you have a great night, and thank you again for coming on.
Hey, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Thank you.
All right. Well, Scott brought it up. So, first of all, great episode. Awesome of Brad to join us.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Scott brought it up. Cars on track tomorrow.
10 a.m.
Chrissy and I and Adrian and Joe will all be together Friday afternoon. We go straight to the track. And then Saturday, ARCA races at noon, which I will be attending. I will be in the pits with everybody. And then Saturday night, no, trucks Friday, ARCA Saturday,
Xfinity Saturday night.
O'Reilly's Saturday night, and then Daytona 500. My first ever Daytona 500. My
You're gonna
first
have a
time in
blast, man.
Daytona.
Listen, man, you're gonna have a blast. I'm not gonna give you too many secrets. I'm just gonna tell you right now. It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna have a good time. You're gonna have a good time. You know, I will say, because it is Florida, I know Florida is a sunshine state. But let's just be real.
Don't even say it, because I already looked at the forecast, and
Take a hoodie.
we are 5% in the rain. Everything else is great.
Take a hoodie.
It's supposed to be 78.
Take a hoodie. Yeah, take a hoodie. Yeah, yep. Take a hoodie. Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you're even if you're 10 rows off of the racetrack,
We're 5 rows off the racetrack.
yeah, take a hoodie, because once that sun goes down and those packed, it can get a little chilly. And you're a skinny dude, man. You're a skinny dude.
We are literally 5 rows from the track, and we are in between the entrance of pit road. Like
Good seats.
Entrance to pit road's here, and we're sitting like here.
Good seats. Good seats.
Very good
You got
seats.
good seats.
And now they're like $277 a piece.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I'm very excited. That was an awesome awesome birthday present from Adrian. And by the way, big news coming from us. We have our very own X line. And I posted it on Facebook. Scott, we're excited to do this, but you can text us anytime at 570-293-95, right? No. 9252, sorry.
9252. Yeah.
My computer screen just turned just enough, and I was like, "Hey, I can't read you."
Yeah, and guys, it's live, so even if it's before the show, you can text us questions, especially if you know who we're having. Like Brad, he had a lot of questions, and questions that we were already asking. We're already in the text, and we got 12 questions from him this tonight.
Nice.
Wow.
We had a pretty good following on the on YouTube also.
Yeah, I'm really pleased. I was pleased, glad to see that, my new home track got some love. Those guys do a heck of a job. Him and Earl, they do a great job announcing, and the big boss Steve, he's so great with the track and everything, and he has such a great passion, just like us. We love racing, right? It doesn't matter if it's pavement, dirt, circle track, road course, left, right, or straight line. We all have a good time. But Bobby, it was a great night. Glad you're starting to feel better again. You sound a whole lot better than what you were.
Yeah, yesterday I thought for sure I was donezo.
Yep. Chrissy, we miss you. Hope you're feeling better too. And we'll see you next week. But Bobby, do you want to drop the big announcement for our next guest next week is?
No. Anyways.
Wait.
No, I'm gonna wait. Anyways, we'll do it here in a second. No, Chrissy, I'll see you Friday or afternoon. We land at 12:45, so I'll see you then. But before we wrap up today's episode, and please do not hound me for this, because I know I'm not 100% yet. So I want to take a moment and thank all of our incredible partners and fans who make Area 51 Racing Podcast possible. And a huge shout out to everybody that is on the banner, everything that they do for us. First of all, I want to thank Big Fish Barbecue. I forgot to add them on the banner, and I feel terrible, so I want to give them the first shout out. But we got Belcher Cheesecake Creations, Spartan Waste, Fox Sport Spartanburg, Runner's Roost, Alliance Driveway Solutions, Race Day Authentics, Matman Designs, Circle B Diecast, Action RV, Anamore Designs, Schanzenbach Landscaping. And then I want to give a big shout out to our drivers. And I know Alex is listening right now, but I got to give a shout out to Alex Club. They're on their way to Daytona. He's sitting here listening as they're cruising, but he's one of our drivers. We got Kylie Glick, Ava Hansen, Becca Monopoly, Quinn Davis, Logan Mizuraka, Alex Club, Jeff McConey, and then obviously Club Racing Inc. and City Garage Motorsports. We couldn't do this without you guys, and thank you for everybody that is part of the Area 51 Racing family.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate y'all. Alex, stay safe, man. Hope you're not driving and listening.
No,
I know.
he's setting
Passenger
co-pilot.
princess. He's being a passenger princess.
Yeah, so do not give away the thing. I'm trying to find something, so do not give it away yet. Just
we should
talk
do it on
about
social media.
something, but not
We
that.
should do it on social media.
No,
Just
I wanna
drop
do
it on
now,
social media.
too.
Oh boy.
So, what's the plans for the upcoming races coming up for you, Scott?
For right now?
Yeah, like what races do you got coming up? I'll while I'm doing this, I'll let you
So, we got the first race I'll be at is going to be for the Short Track Super Series. That's going to be at Port Royal. Going to be there just to being as a fan. And then I got Martinsville. And then we kick off our season, I think April. April is the first limited late model show we got on the tabs. But other than that, everything should be good to go. That's it. Ready to go. Getting sick of this cold. It's finally above 40 degrees.
I can't with this cold anymore. It's
I
starting
can't.
to break me.
Yeah, it broke me already. It broke me when it
I'm
was
literally
negative
like,
23.
dude, all right, it can stop now.
Yeah, it broke me when it was negative 23. I will say this, Bobby.
Yep.
In all seriousness, though, you're a pavement guy. I'm a dirt guy. We joke around about it, we joke around about how our disciplines are so much different. But I think I get you to Port Royal. And I get you for the Bob Weikert Memorial. I think it's over and done with. I think I will officially convert you to a dirt guy where you will love watching somebody bang the boards.
I don't know, man. We will have to see because I really, like I said, you know this more than I do. I'm strictly pavement. I've always been that way.
You have, but you know what though? I think getting you to your first dirt track race and then getting you to
We lost you, Scott.
yeah, my camera just went off. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I got you, but it's very quiet.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to fix it. I don't know what's going on. I think the Wi-Fi is going out. I think though, I get you to a dirt race. It's over. I swear to God.
Maybe.
All
right.
We got back. We're back.
Yep, you're back, and I'm gonna get ready to post this. So, with further ado,
drum roll.
And do. I don't know. It just sounded good.
It did sound good.
We've got the one, the only, Garrett Smithley.
Next Tuesday, yeah.
And as you can tell, we will have pictures like that from Daytona.
You better listen, man. You better be sending me that stuff.
No, absolutely not. You missed out on the race. That's on you.
It's all right. It's all right.
No, I'm messing. We're actually, I think with us working Saturday, I was told that we can stay in the pits. So our plan is to go down and stay with Garrett's team.
Yeah, I'll let you know what pit stall they're in. Yeah, so glad to finally lock Garrett down. Busy man,
We've been trying to lock him down for 2 years.
2 years, yeah. He's a hard guy to get locked down, but finally we got him in. Gonna have him next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, live. He's gonna be on the air with us, with Chrissy. Hopefully, Chrissy's feeling better by then.
I just thought of something.
Uh-oh.
I have to send it to myself though, so I can share it. So not many of you know. So
This is why
as
Chrissy's in charge when she's here, because we do go off the rails.
yeah, I know, which I told you we do.
Yeah, we definitely do.
But anyways, I have been. You guys all know that I personally sponsored Area 51 Racing Podcast to come on Alex's car last year for the
Yes,
cup
yes, you
for the
did.
cup car. Or sorry, for the ARCA car at Toledo. Sorry, I'm thinking cup cars because I'm watching these guys and they're showing cup racing. Got me excited for a minute. So I got something pretty cool to show you guys, and I sent it to Scott so he knows what I'm gonna say. But
Oh,
a lot of you
yes,
don't. A
yes.
lot of you don't know
Yes, you
this.
don't. Yeah, it's not been posted.
We are on the back of Alex's car for Toledo or for Daytona. Sorry, and we're gonna be on the car at Toledo. We're gonna be on the car every week, but we are really gonna be on the car at Daytona.
You know what's funny? Oh, keep that picture up here a minute. Keep that up here for a minute.
All right, all right,
Screen share.
Yeah, there you go.
How do you think a driver is going to feel looking at that for 100 laps? Staring at he got to get out of the car and be like, God dang it. Now I got to go check this out. And bam, now he wants to come on the podcast with us because we're a part of racing.
Let's talk about this. As Alex is leading the Daytona 250 or the 200.
250? I thought it was the 200.
Maybe it is the 200. I sounded 250 sounded better. My bad. So say it's the ARCA 200. Man, we'll say it that way. I don't know, but we'll just say it. And he's leading the race, right? And you have a Venturini car with a camera on it. And we're watching off the front bumper of their car, and that's what you see on TV. Everybody on Fox is going to go, huh, Area 51 Racing Podcast. Let's go check that out.
But even if it's not on TV, guys, you're seeing it right now. If you're just watching and listening for the first time, go back and watch episodes, where we have drivers on and talk. And, last week's episode with Nolan Wilson and Alex Chubb, Club. Jeez, I called him Chubb. Sorry, Alex. I swear it's only juice in my cup, man. I swear to God. It was a great episode. Nolan, what a great guy. Like he really, and then you got Alex, always humble, always good to talk with him. He's such a great guy. And I really do appreciate him, wanting to be representing the podcast with us and putting us out there like he is and being a part of us and being part of our family and everything. And we got Logan who's racing. I believe it's Logan in the 86 car, right, Bobby?
Yes, sir.
I can't pronounce her last name, so I'm not even going to try.
Mizuraka.
Yeah, I'm good. Want to give a shout out to Becca. Want to give a shout out to Quinn. You guys have a good time down there in Florida. I believe Becca's going to be racing her pro truck or her pro late model soon. Thought I seen where she posted she was going to be racing. So, good luck to her girls racing. I'm not sure if the other one who's out west, if her season started or if she traveled to Florida for the series.
Kylie has not raced yet. Ava hasn't started yet. I think they start in March.
Yeah. So
as soon as the girls start racing, we're gonna get Kylie on soon. We're gonna get Ava on again, and then we'll obviously have Alex and Jeff back on, and Becca and Quinn and Logan, and we might actually have Logan on after Daytona, maybe with Garrett even, just to talk about how Daytona went.
Yeah, hey, you're down there. You might as well do it live on.
I mean, we could do that too.
Well, what better way not to give her, some love and show her everything. And I wish her best of luck. I mean, it's gonna be tough. 50 cars, dude. 50 cars.
Yeah, 50 cars
ARCA.
qualifying.
Wow.
Only 40 spots. 10 people go home.
Crazy. 50 cars
Absolutely.
for ARCA.
Well,
Wow.
the
Great
truck
job, guys.
entry is high too.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I haven't I haven't seen a truck entry.
Give me a second. I'll pull it up real quick because I do have it saved.
Hey, well, let's talk about some big news that happened. Garrett Mitchell, aka Cletus McFarland, getting approved to race Daytona.
Yes, sir. That's exciting.
Yeah, I can't wait. That's gonna be fun. And let's give a welcome back to Brad Keselowski being cleared by NASCAR to run Daytona. His hunt for a Daytona 500 win is now engaged. Good luck for him. Glad to have him back. Man, I don't know, Bobby. What do you think? Who's your pick? Who's your for the Daytona 500? Who's your pick?
You don't
Go
want
with
to
him
know.
here.
You don't want to know.
Denny Hamlin. I know it's gonna be Denny Hamlin. He's just got that look of his face. It's Denny Hamlin. Oh. Who's your pick? Come on, man. Come on. Who's your
I'll
pick?
give you my top two.
All right. I'll give you my top two then.
I actually have three, but I'll
Top
leave
three.
it.
Top
All
three.
right. Brad Keselowski
Okay.
gets his first.
Okay.
Kyle Busch gets his first.
Ooh.
One of them.
Ooh. That's a good pick.
Or
I'll be happy. I'll be happy with that.
or Carson Hocevar shows everybody what's up and wins his first 500 just like that.
Oh, you're picking a walk off. Ooh. All right. Well, here's my three. I'm gonna go with William Byron getting a three-peat. Listen, the kid's good. He's good.
I don't care. I don't want to see a 3.
It's not hasn't happened a lot.
I don't
Very rare.
want to see it.
Listen, you don't want to see it, but
That means I got to buy the diecast.
It's all right. You can spend some money.
No, I would not preferably not have a 24 car in my house.
Hey, easy now.
I'm sorry. My dad was a Dale Senior fan with a passion.
I agree with you about the Kyle Busch one. I really agree with you about the Kyle Busch one.
I'd like to see Brad or Kyle win it just because they've never won it before. Brad's going on his 17th start and Kyle's going on his 21st.
I'm not sure how many it took Dale Earnhardt Sr. I know it was pretty up there. Oh, okay. So, hey, you know what? The feel-good story would be Kyle Busch, right? Getting 21st start, getting his first Daytona 500 win. But here's one I think even you could agree with. Ryan Preece. That's my dark horse.
Yeah.
He's always been fast at Daytona, just bad luck. He's actually been fast at Dega and Daytona. It's just bad luck. But he picks up his first win, non-points win though, at the Clash. Who cares? Non-points win. Doesn't care. I think RFK carrying the momentum in Daytona from that. I would love my dark horse is going to be Ryan Preece.
All right. So since we're going this route, who do you got for Xfinity or O'Reilly's?
I haven't called it Xfinity for a long. Man, Xfinity is hard because so many of those guys could. Geez, I just did it to myself too. O'Reilly's is hard because there's so many good cars there. The RCR cars are going to be fast. The Jesse Love and Austin Hill are going to be fast because they're always fast there. But you know what? The feel-good story for me, my pick that's going to be out on the limb. God, I'd love to see. I'd like to see my buddy Garrett get it. I know he's my dark horse pick because I know, but he's going to be fast. I think it's a no-brainer. It's going to be, one of the I think it's going to. Not many Fords out there, so I don't think it's going to be any Fords. Gosh, you put me on the spot here, buddy.
I already know who I'm picking.
I'm gonna say it's either gonna be Carson Hocevar or Corey Day. I like Corey Day. He looks good. It's all
You know who I
Chevy.
got?
All Chevy 3. Who you got?
I got Raja Caruth in the 88, and I got Justin Allgaier in the 7.
Okay. I would not hate on any of those two. Mm-mm.
And by the way, the Truck Series
They have a lot.
had 44 entries and only 36 spots. And I'm going to say this right now.
45.
Oh, there was 44 earlier because I
45.
screenshotted it. So I'm going to say this. I'd like to see Corey LaJoy take the 75 truck and win the truck race. But I'm going to say it like this. I'm going to say, and I know that everybody's going to be like, oh, you're just saying it because of the name. But mark my words, Tony Stewart will be a force to reckon with in that truck race.
Oh, ooh, my man. If he's not, we got a problem. Smoke? Yeah.
Hey,
He's gonna.
Hey, by the way, the smoke show is back, baby.
Yeah, Tony's. That's a good pick. I like Corey LaJoy too. The 75. That's a good strong pick. But
Matter
you
of
know
fact,
what?
you know what? My dark horse for the 500, Corey LaJoy in the 99.
Ooh. That is a dark horse. It's possible. Hey, listen, it's possible.
Hey,
It is 100%. It's Daytona.
mic drop.
It's Daytona. Listen, man, if he comes back and he wins it, you said it here on Tuesday night, February 10th, 9:13.
Oh,
But
we'll literally be going like this. Hey, it'll be like this.
right, yeah, no kidding. Listen, if it happens, I'll be blowing you up. I'll blow you up. But you know what though? If we're gonna talk about trucks, we mentioned them. My feel good win for a guy that came from nothing, quit his day job to go full-time racing. Took a chance on himself. Did you just leave me, Bobby? Took a chance on himself. Driving a Ram for Colleague Racing, which I know you're grabbing out of your little closet there. In the number 12. I know you got to wear it. I want to, my feel-good win would be Brandon Butterbean Queen.
Yes, sir.
Truck race.
And we got the Ram. Hey,
I knew you were gonna go get it. I knew you were gonna go get it, but he is my pick. He's such a humble guy. Came from nothing, deserves everything he's got. Took a chance on himself and went full-time Cars Tour racing in the 03. Went ARCA racing and won it. He's gonna do good. I'm a man from nothing. And you know what? Let's give a shout out to Mini Tyrell winning the win your seat race, the ram your seat or whatever it was called. I don't remember the whole wording.
Race to the seat.
Race to the seat. Thank you. We talked about this. We were like, oh, okay, well, who we got? We had Landon Huffman and Mini Tyrell right from the get-go being in the seat, but what a thing. Racing's back, buddy. I'm getting I'm antsy.
Yeah, I've been excited, and obviously you guys know I own that Ram, so obviously as soon as Ram came in, and I told Scott, I said, I'm ready, and then I just got a text message that my smoke show shirt, I just got the email. It says your package arrives Thursday, so I will have my smoke show shirt to wear for Daytona. So keep an eye out. Bobby's gonna be the smoke show.
Oh Lord! And this is why Chrissy needs to keep us in line. We just went off the rail by 30 minutes.
Hey, you know what? And I feel better now. And I was starting to feel a little bit better towards the middle of the interview, and I'm like, we should drag this on a little bit. And then I was like, nah, I'm starting to not fit. Now I got my second wind, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready.
Well, you may be ready, but man,
I'm ready for bed.
I'm ready for bed. It's been a long
So
day.
with that being said, I want to thank everybody for
Yes.
tuning in tonight, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week with Garrett. And stay tuned this weekend. We will have all sorts of content. If we're not sending it, Scott will be sending it. And
Yeah. Yeah. We'll be filling in content. Even if we're not, listen, guys, even if we're not even if we're not having a show, we're going to have some content.
absolutely,
That's
we're gonna be off the air March the first week of March. I'll be down in Florida for spring training, and
Yep. And we're not going to have a show the 24th either.
we might for
Okay.
March 3rd we will for sure not have one. Well, with that being said, y'all have a good night, and Scott and I and Chrissy will see you guys soon. And like I said, stay tuned this weekend. Lots of content, and let's go Ram. I'll talk to you guys later.
Have a good night, guys.